Kindred is the newest Spider-Man villain introduced by Nick Spencer in Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5, Issue Number 1, as an illusion torturing Mysterio. We get our first full look of Kindred in Amazing Spider-Man Issue Number 5. He/she is a demon with centipedes crawling all throughout his or her body. Seemingly, Kindred knows Spider-Man personally enough to keep referring to him as Pete. The abilities Kindred has as of recording of the video is that he/she has the ability to resurrect people like he/she did with Mysterio and Sin Eater. Kindred also has the ability to remotely control bugs and other pests. Now, let's get into who the identity of Kindred could possibly be. Harry Osborn pre One More Day. I hate this theory, but it looks like it might be the closest to being actually true. Certainly, certain people in the comic book community believe a version of Harry Osborn could be Kindred. The reason why they believe it's Harry because before One More Day, Harry was dead. Kindred seems to know Spidey is Peter Parker just like Harry did, and he also seems to have a hatred for Norman Osborn. I don't believe Harry could be Kindred, being that Harry is currently alive, whether it be post One More Day or not, he's alive. And he's barely been a feature in Spencer's run, so I just don't see it being him. George Stacy. This is one of my personal theories. I believe George Stacy could very well be Kindred, looking at the evidence that has been provided, such as George knew Pete with Spidey just like Kindred does. Kindred seems to have a knowledge of Peter and Gwen's relationship, and the biggest thing that I believe to support this theory is the clone conspiracy. If Spencer piggybacks off the idea of how Slott was using the idea that we're nothing but our memories like he did in Superior Spider-Man, then George remembers what happens during the clone conspiracy, and he could be angry over the fact that Pete didn't protect Gwen like he was supposed to, and then let her body and memory be continually desecrated. Jean DeWolf, another of my personal theories, I believe Jean DeWolf could be Kindred based on the fact that Kindred seems to be using Sin Eater to do his or her bidding. Jean DeWolf was killed by Sin Eater, and she could be using him to torture Spider-Man to remind him of yet another one of his failures. I personally think this is the most likely option. I know the evidence is super spotty, but I just feel the Sin Eater is such an out-there person to bring in that there's got to be some kind of connection there. Flash Thompson. I really hope this isn't true, but there's a very real possibility that Flash Thompson could be Kindred as well. He died right before Spencer started his run. Spencer seems like he wants to try and get the Spidey house in order, kind of with the whole MJ and Pete getting back together, Craven being dead again, and Peter back in college. So it wouldn't be out of reach that Spencer would want to bring back Flash. We know Kindred seems to know Peter on a personal level and his relationship history. So it could very well be Flash. I just hope it's not. Now, another one of my fun theories I have with this run is that Aunt May's life is tied to the relationship of MJ and Peter Parker. As far as I'm aware, I'm the only one thinking about this. At the start of MJ and Peter's getting back together, we find out in a Sister Spider-Man title that Aunt May has cancer. I believe due to how One More Day occurred, with Peter and MJ making a deal with Mephisto to give up their love in order to save Aunt May, not only did this deal bring back Aunt May, but it caused the world to forget Spider-Man was Peter Parker, it brought Harry back to life, and other changes to the Spider-Man mythos. As the years have gone on, Peter and MJ have flirted with getting back together, but they never did, until recently in Spencer's run. My theory is that Aunt May is only allowed to live as long as MJ and Peter aren't together, namely marriage. Cancer for Aunt May, I believe, is just a symptom of a much bigger disease, the Mephisto deal. I believe as long as MJ and Peter are together, Aunt May will continue suffering from cancer. And if Peter and MJ do get married, she will die for them breaking the deal they made with Mephisto. This is just my own personal theory because Marvel refuses to marry characters. I love MJ and Peter together and have waited years for them to get back together, but comics have a tendency to follow their weird rules, and it seems that the powers that be don't want MJ and Peter together and are willing like they have been in the past to use Aunt May as a bargaining chip.
Audio Jungle.